Welcome to Believers Talk, and a big win for the Buffalo Bills, 41-10 of the New York Jets yesterday. And we're going to talk about all right here on Believers Talk, followed by an announcement for all of you Buffalo sports fans later in this video. But first, I want to welcome you to Believers Talk. My name is Joe. Always a lot more fun doing these after victory. I'll give you that. I mean, we're 3-7 now. Have had a lot of things not go our way this season, but it's nice going into the bye week to be able to get this victory. So let's go over some statistics from this game. Some things that were good and bad. There is some bad in this game. Guys, I know we're all excited. 41-10, Matt Barkley looked good, yada, yada, yada. But there's some things we have to look at that, if you're a Bills fan, that have to concern you a little bit going forward. But it's easier to talk about those things after a Bills victory than it is talking about those things during another loss. So we are 3-7 on the season. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. It's nice to get that win before bye, like I said, but we're still 3-7. Nothing's changed there. But let's get into some stats. We can't change the past. The past is the past. Let's talk about the future and the game yesterday as well. Talk about what's coming on this week as we look forward to our bye week coming off this win. So some statistics from this game. Of course, we're going to start with the Buffalo Bills. We're going to start with the winning team here. It's nice to be able to start with the Bills on this channel because that's what this channel is all about. So we're going to start with Matt Barkley, the quarterback, 15 for 25, much better than Nathan Peterman. 232 and 2 touchdowns. That 232 increases our passing average. We actually have only had 3 games now where we've passed the ball for more than 230 yards. So that's how bad this offense is. However, in this game, with all the points scored, winning 41-10, we actually are now second worst in scoring offense, not first. We're not the worst in scoring offense. So we move ahead of Arizona in that category. So that's at least good to know. We're moving up a little bit on the offensive category. And we also move to number 1 in yards allowed on defense. So that's good to see. We'll get to the defensive side of the ball in a second. Matt Barkley, 15 for 25, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns. Logan Thomas, 1 for 1 with that 15-yard out route to Robert Foster on that fake punt. Great play call, great play design. Able to pick up the first down when we were only up 7-0 at the time. Really helped keep that momentum rolling for the Buffalo Bills. And then you look at the rushing yards. Again, going into this game, one of my 3 keys to victory was running the ball. Got some bad news before the game started with Chris Ivory being inactive, but that did not stop our game plan, which was to run the ball, and we did so effectively. LeSean McCoy, 26 carries, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. First game with a touchdown this season. First game over 100 yards this season. Very nice to see that. First game over 25 carries this season. So, we used him a lot. Some people would have liked to see more in the screen pass game. I think I would have probably enjoyed that too. Only 1 screen pass in this game. But, he's with that production from running the ball, you can't argue with that. Marcus Murphy, 14 rushes, 69 yards to add a little spark to that running game. He was more up and down most of the day. Where LeSean McCoy, of course, doing his normal LeSean McCoy jive type stuff where he tries to make yards. Sometimes lost yards on that, but again, 26-113, you can't complain. Isaiah McKenzie, huge bonus in this game. Just to add Isaiah McKenzie, talk about him a little bit as he was just signed last Monday. It's good to see him on this team. He looked pretty good yesterday, not just with rushing the ball. I think he had 1 or 2 receptions. We'll get to that in a second. And then in the return game as well, we'll talk about that as well. Just overall, he played a big factor in this game. A great addition for the Buffalo Bills. But he had 3 rushes, 32 yards, and then Matt Barkley had 3 rushes for -2 yards. So overall, we had 46 rushes for 212 yards for an average of 4.6 yards a carry. So that was good to see for the Buffalo Bills. Again, in the games where we got more than 35 carries per game, we've actually gone 3-0, I believe, or maybe 3-1. But that seems to be a key factor in these victories. We need to get more than 35 rushes total in the game, and that will help us win. Obviously, some of these games were over before they started as far as point totals, so we had to abandon the run quickly. But in this game, we were able to keep with the run. Obviously, got up early, got up big, and then we were just able to pound the rock the whole second half. So again, it's always nice to see the run defense do that well, or the run offense, I'm sorry, do good there. Receiving the ball, our leading receiver was actually Robert Foster. 3 big catches for 105 yards. He had the first play of the game, huge play downfield, and then you have the fake punt, and then you had another huge play down the field in the second half. So 3 catches, 105 yards for Robert Foster. Zay Jones had 8 catches, 93 yards, and a touchdown. Zay Jones just keeps coming and getting stronger. As long as that quarterback play improves, it's going to mean good things for Zay Jones. I think we have a good slot receiver in the making. Let's keep it like that, and let's hope that Josh Allen Zay Jones connection can be things fancy owners dream about come next season. Andre Holmes had 1 catch for 22 yards. Isaiah McKenzie a catch for 14 yards. Dion Dawkins, offensive tackle. Dion Dawkins with 1 catch, 7 yards, and a touchdown. So that's 2 passing touchdowns on the day. LaShawn McCoy had that 1 screen pass I talked about earlier for 5 yards. Logan Thomas had 1 catch for 1 yard. Terrell Pryor, Kevin Benjamin had 3 targets each. No catches for either one of them. So we'll talk a little bit more about them in a moment as well, because like I said, sometimes in these videos, in these post-game videos, they don't want to just talk about the good. There are bad. There's good and bad in every game. I truly believe there's good and bad in every game, and there's a few bad things, like I said, that I do want to talk about, but again, it's easier to talk about those things after a Bills victory. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Going to the defensive side of the ball, you do have Micah Hyde and Matt Milano both with interceptions in this game. So that, winning the turnover battle is always going to help you win a game. We win the turnover battle 2-0. No fumbles in this game. Well, no fumbles that the other team recovered, Zay Jones. But no turnovers for the Buffalo Bills in this game. 2 interceptions by the Jets. Again, anytime you're going to win that turnover battle, that's going to give you a good chance to win the game. Go to the defense as far as tackles go. Our leading tackler was Tremaine Edmonds with 4 tackles. 4 tackles, and you say, wow, that's not a lot. Well, that's because the defense did not allow the Jets to get too many plays at all. I mean, really, you talk about the Bills' defense now being number 1 in total yards allowed. The Jets actually, their first 4 possessions were all 3 and out. So that's really one of those positives I want to talk about too, is about how important it is to start with the ball and be able to get that offense going in a rhythm early. And we were able to do that in this game because the Jets offense was not staying on the field really, and that wears down the Jets defense too. So, but yeah, we have Tremaine Edmonds had 4 catches. Jordan Poyer, Matt Milano both had three tackles. Raphael Bush, Jerry Hughes, Shaq Lawson, Travius White, Teron Johnson, one of those silent playmakers that we love to see in Buffalo. They all had 2 tackles, and everyone else had 1 tackle. So really a team effort, a group effort on that defensive side of the ball, which is great to see. You don't see one guy standing out above the rest. They're all kind of contributing, and you always love to see that. You talk about some sacks. We had 3 sacks in this game. Jordan Poyer, Jerry Hughes, and Shaq Lawson, 3 sacks total. They each had a sack. So we're getting to the quarterback a little bit more. Again, I said in my pregame, one of my 3 keys to victory was getting pressure on McCown, and we were able to do that early. We had 3 or 4 deflected balls at the line of scrimmage, 3 sacks, and that's do nothing but help your team again, build that confidence on defense to help you get wins like we did in this game here. So moving to the Jets side of the ball, Jets not that great as far as statistics go. You have Josh McCown, 50% completion percentage, went 17 for 34, 135 yards, those 2 interceptions. Rushing the ball, again, great game for our rush defense. Our rush defense was played well most of the season. I only look back at that Colts game and say we allowed over 200 yards in that game, but for most of the season, the Bills' rush defense has been very good, and this game was no different. You're talking about McGuire had 6 carries for 30 yards, Trenton Cannon 4 carries for 30 yards, Isaiah Crowell had 19 yards, and then Josh McCown had 1 carry for 4 yards. So you're looking at 83 yards of total of rushing offense for the Jets. As far as receiving goes, the leading receiver was Christopher Herndon, their tight end, 3 catches, 34 yards. Elijah McGuire, 3 catches, 27 yards. Isaiah Crowell had 2 for 18. Enunwa had 4 for 18. Jermaine Kearse had 2 for 16. Sharon Peak, 1 for 11. Jordan Leggett, 1 for 6. Trenton Cannon, 1 for 5. So those are the receiving stats for the Jets. Fumbles, they had 1 by Avery Williamson, I apologize, that he forced that fumble on Zay Jones, and then we recovered it in the end zone, so it was a touchdown for the Bills. Again, bounce finally going the Bills' way in this game. And then you talk about Their defense, the Jets defense, you have Avery Williamson was their leading tackle with 7 tackles. Deron Lee had 5 tackles, and Dexter Scrin had 4 tackles. So those are the leading tacklers. They had 1 sack total, and it was split between Jamel Adams and Jordan Jenkins. They both get half a sack for their 1 sack on Matt Barkley. So, again, the Bills did a good job. You talk about the offensive line being switched up a little bit. Wyatt Teller finally getting in the game, looking a lot better there. And their offensive line was able to keep the defense of the Jets away from Matt Barkley, give him time to use some of those weapons downfield. Again, the Bills don't have great weapons, but we were able to stretch the field a little bit in that situation and able to move the chains on plenty of occasions. So that was good to see. Again, talking about the good in this game, you're talking about Brian Daboll. You know, after last week's game and for most of the season, a lot of Bills fans were out there calling for Brian Daboll's head, saying that his offense is putrid, that we can't move the ball. And you were right. I mean, I can't say you were wrong. I mean, we were averaging 10.8 points a game. But when you're talking about, this week we were talking about our 4th starting quarterback in 10 weeks. And you talk about offensive line that's kind of like been a makeshift offensive line with the retirement of Incognito, with the forced retirement of Eric Wood, and then with trading Cordy Glenn. That's 3 offensive tackles that are going to have to start that we didn't have, and going into the end of last season, 2 of them we weren't sure about. We thought about trading Corey Glenn. We knew that would probably be something that would happen during the offseason. But those forced retirements, you can't do anything about that. And we have so many holes on this team. And then you talk about our number 1 wide receiving target, which I'll talk about some more later. Kelvin Benjamin not living up to snuff at all this year. Just all these things snowball, and so it looks bad for an offensive coordinator. But you look at this game, talking about good play calling, that pass to Foster on 1st down. Welcome, Snip Easy. Yeah, we were something yesterday, man. It was great to see. And again, these videos are a lot more fun to do after a Buffalo Bills win. We're a little early today just because I have off of work and we have some plans this evening. So I wanted to get out here early, make sure I still did my live stream, make sure I still did my post game, was able to rewatch the game. So I wanted to get on here just to give you this wrap up of this game because, I know we're in a bye week and I know everyone wants to have a good time with this win. But if you're the Buffalo Bills, man, enjoy this win today. Enjoy this win today. We got to move on. We got to look towards Jacksonville in 2 weeks. We have to figure out what we're going to do to stop that Jacksonville Jaguars team that comes in kind of like the Jets, kind of struggling a little bit, and we'll be at home. We'll be at Buffalo. I'll be at that game, so I'm looking forward to it. But we got to figure out what we need to do to get another W and maybe keep building. Josh Allen will be back in 2 weeks. Look forward to seeing him back. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm not saying, again, there's no chance the Bills are going to make the playoffs. Let's not get too crazy. Let's not get too excited over this victory. I know a lot of you are getting way too overexcited about this victory, including myself. I love seeing a Bills win, but guys, it's just 1 win. Let's calm down. I talk about one of the bad things we're going to talk about here is the fact that the Bills won 41-10 might have made Bills fans' expectations go a little bit higher than they should. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we're on the good right now. Again, Brian Daboll, that first play, that pass to Robert Foster on 1st down was huge, I think, for just the whole game, because now the Jets realize they have to respect the pass a little more. If you were with me on my live stream yesterday, even during the game, I talked about how the linebackers, every fake to McCoy, the linebackers kept coming up, and we were able to get some deep passes because of that. So, they were obviously playing the run, and that opened up the pass game, and it showed on that first play. And then you talk about that TD pass to Deion Dawkins. I mean, come on, that was obviously something that Brian Daboll drew up. That wasn't something that Matt Barkley just made up on his own. So it was good to see that. Yeah, Fox 87, how you doing? I have some plans this evening, so I wanted to get the stream out here a little bit earlier than normal. I do have a special announcement that will be coming at the end. I know, and Fox 87, you want to stick around because I know that you'll like the special announcement. So you want to stick around here, and I'll be giving you that at the end of this video. So the second good thing, the good of the good that I have here is the Buffalo Bills defense. The Buffalo Bills defense just did great in suffocating the Jets all game. And we talk about the Jets only having 1 offensive yard in the whole first quarter, right? Talk about the Jets having 4 straight 3-and-outs. That helps this offense. In my pregame, I talk about the Bills defense possibly needing to create points, and they didn't create points off turnovers. Special teams didn't create points, but just being able to give the Buffalo Bills offense the ball all those times in a row, that helped out. Not only did it help our offense get into a rhythm, that also helped out as far as getting that Jets defense tired. Those 3 and outs are really demoralizing for a defense after they're huffing wind because they've been on the field for so long. That first drive, we're scoring 2 plays, and then they're right back out there. Yeah, well, I am excited about that. But that's actually not the special announcement. But we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that soon. And then the third. And I didn't even talk about this. The Bills defense. The Jets were only converted. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going crazy. The Jets only converted 8% of their third downs. All right, so their third down efficiency was 8%. That means when the Jets faced the third down, they were forced off the field 92% of the time. So that's a great stat to see. That's the numbers that we need to keep there just to give our team a chance to win. And this defense, like I said, does move up to number 1 now in NFL in total yards allowed. Number 1 defense in total yards allowed. That's a great statement to be able to say after week 10 in the NFL. But also talking about third down efficiency, the Bills were also 50% on third downs. I mean, you talk about a great stat that shows you the difference in how we did dominate this game. We were 50% on third downs. They were 8% on third downs. So you're talking about us constantly moving the chains, moving the sticks, keeping plays alive, keeping drives alive, and getting that defense more and more tired as we're on the field. And that's just huge. We need to keep those numbers up. And that goes back to the running game because it's easier to convert third downs when they're third and shorts, right? I mean, when we're averaging, our average third down is 3rd and 8, we're not going to convert those. We're not convert. Most teams aren't going to convert those at 50%. But when you're looking at 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 1s, those are easier to convert, and those you can get those higher percentages. Keep that defense on the field, get them worn out, so you can possibly open up the field a little bit later in the game. So those are my positive players to talk about. There are some key players that I want to talk about after this win. Isaiah McKenzie, what a great performance by him. You talk about receiving the ball, you talk about running the ball, you talk about in the return game. Definitely helped our special teams, gave this whole team a spark. You saw him bouncing around out there pretty much after every play, just very excited, and we're happy to have him on our team after just signing him Monday. Had a big impact in this game. He wasn't the only guy. Matt Barkley was not the only guy who this was his first game and he had a big impact for the Bills. Isaiah McKenzie had a big impact for the Bills, and I hope to see that continue now that we have our guy on special teams. We were playing around back there with Barry McLeod a little bit, Robert Foster. We had Micah Hyde back there for a little bit, but to have our guy that we know is our return guy, I think that goes a long way into solidifying this team, just because special teams is one of those 3 parts of the game that we can't forget about. And so to have that solidified by Isaiah McKenzie is a huge factor. I think he played well in this game. And then you have to talk about LeSean McCoy. LeSean McCoy has 10 games in his career where he's rushed for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. He and Adrian Foster are the only 2 active players to have done that at this time. So, hats off to LeSean McCoy. Big game after he finally talked to the press again this past week. We know that he was not talking to the press for a little bit. And he's right. Everything he said was correct. I'm not going to knock him because he's been upset because he knows that his career, his career clock is ticking and it's coming close to an end. He wants to play for a contender. He does not want to be on a 3-7 team. Nobody should want to be on a 3-7 team. Or 3-7 team, but when your career is close to the end and you still have something left, which he proved in this game, he still has something in the tank, guys. You want to be able to use that and hopefully to a winning team and get a chance to win that Super Bowl, which he hasn't been able to do yet. So those are the 2 players I really wanted to focus on. I know some guys will talk about Matt Barkley. Matt Barkley played fine. He played fine, 15 for 25, 256, 253, something like that. 263, I forget. But anyway, no interceptions. That's the big number. No interceptions. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. If we throw no interceptions and are able to manage the game well, you give this team a chance to win. Okay, and that kind of concerns me moving forward. I want to talk about us as Bills fans, right? We're very excitable, including me, as we see on these live streams, and we sometimes see something and we get a little too excited. We're not the only sports fans to do this. Everyone does it, but you see something for the first time and you think, oh wow, like that's going to continue to happen, and it should continue to happen, and we're going to be fine from here on out. That's not going to be the case. Josh Allen's going to come back in 2 weeks against Jacksonville, and he might struggle. He might struggle because it's his first game back in 4 weeks. he might struggle because that Jacksonville defense is a little bit better than the Jets defense. No offense to the Jets defense, and not trying to overstate how good the Jags defense is. This Jags defense is nothing like it was last year, but still a little bit better than the Jets defense, especially in that secondary. So we're going to see Josh Allen possibly stumble out the gates, and then all of a sudden Bills fans are going to be like, oh, we should put Matt Barkley back in. No, we shouldn't. We should stick to our rookie. The plan should be the same. When our rookie is healthy and ready to go, he should stay in there and learn from Derek Anderson. If Matt Barkley comes in for a little bit, if Josh Allen's not feeling right, or, this is the time where if Josh Allen has a 3-interception first half, you can put Matt Barkley back in there. But for the most part, I don't expect to see anybody but Josh Allen in this game. Happy that Matt Barkley came out. Happy he had the success he did. And I think that's going to only help his career, further his career in the NFL. A team's going to give him a shot now, where they might not have before, now that he was able to do this for the Buffalo Bills. So, I do like to see what Matt Barkley did. However, I still say we should go Josh Allen come in 2 weeks after our bye. And if Josh Allen struggles to start off, that's okay. And we shouldn't, as Bills fans, be booing him or expect anything less than that, and then all of a sudden hope Matt Barkley comes back in when he does struggle. No, that's not the case here, guys. We should just know that he's a rookie, know that he's just had 4 weeks off due to injury, and be ready for whatever's going to happen against Jacksonville, and know that things are going to get better. We saw in this game good things to come. We know why there's good things to come. I mean, even this offensive line played well for all the crap they've been given all year. Everybody stepped up in this game. Everyone played well. And I know the Jets, if you're a Jets fan out there, I know that the Jets didn't play up to the level that you were expecting. It's almost like, that first play to Robert Foster punched him in the mouth. They got a punch in the mouth, and they just were dazed the rest of the game. They weren't able to come back from that. And McCoy run the next play makes it 7-0. I think that Zay Jones fumble to make it 14-0 when they recovered in the end, when the Bills recovered in the end zone. If the Jets recover that fumble in the end zone, this game is completely different, because then the momentum swings to the Jets, and it's still only 7-0. They get the ball at the 20-yard line. I think that makes this game completely different. It might be more of like a dogfight type game. But the Jets just didn't seem to have it in them. The bounces seemed to go the Bills' way. Neither team had a lot of penalties in this game. Bills only had 4 penalties. I think the Jets only had 1 penalty or something like that. It was crazy. So that was good to see from a Bills and Jets standpoint, I believe. But I'd be interested to see what Jets Central thinks now about Todd Bowles now. I'll be watching his video probably after I'm done with this one here, just to see what he thinks, because he does his post-game videos the Sunday after the game. So I'll be interested to see what he thinks about Todd Bowles and whether the Jets should keep him or not. I know going into the game, he thought the Jets should fire Todd Bowles if they didn't play well in this game, and they didn't play well in this game. So, some other bad that I saw, the special teams. Isaiah McKenzie coming in is great for our special teams, but one thing our special team needs to do, they need to tackle better. There were a couple plays where the Jets ran out a kick, or we punted and the Jets were running it, and it seemed like we could have tackled them a lot sooner than we did. It seemed like almost every time the first guy there did not wrap up, did not get the tackle. It was the second or third, and in one instance, the fifth or sixth guy that finally got the tackle. We need to improve on that. When you hit somebody, you need to be able to tackle them. You can't let them gain extra yards after first contact. That's something that defenses preach, and that's something that special teams should preach as well. If you want to stay on this team, if you want a spot on this team, because if you're on special teams, obviously your spot might be a little more up in the air, compared to if you're playing defense or offense. But if you're playing special teams, you need to be able to wrap up, you need to be able to tackle right away. So that way we help prevent good field position for the other team. And then that gives our defense a little more room to do what they do. As currently, like I said, and I'll continue to say because this is a great stat, as a guy who loves defense, as the current #1 defense in yards allowed in the NFL. That's great news. And then let's get to the last bad that I have. And if you're a Bills fan, it's been the same thing all year. Same course, all year. Kelvin Benjamin. And in this case, I put down Kelvin Benjamin and Terrell Pryor. Both had 3 targets in this game. Both had 0 catches. Now, Terrell Pryor, I give him a little pass, this only being his second week on the Bills offense. But you're talking about Kelvin Benjamin. He's been here for over a year now. And it's just disappointing because, when the game's 7-0 with 3 minutes and 7 seconds to go, 1st and 10, the Bills get the ball, they pass it. It was a beautiful pass from Matt Barkley to Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin goes up and gets it. As he's coming down, he's not touched. As he hits the ground, the ball falls out. incomplete pass. That's a big time in the game. It's still 7-0. The Jets could stop us to a field goal. The Jets could get a turnover. We need you're watching one of those. Hey, tell them I say hi. Tell them I say how they're doing. I watch them from time to time when I'm not live streaming. Obviously, this is a little bit different for me. I normally don't live stream at 3 in the afternoon. But again, we have off today, so I thought I'd get this out there. Have a special announcement. I couldn't wait to share with you guys, so I wanted to share that with you as well. So. But Kelvin Benjamin just did not play well in this game. There was a play I believe it was in the third quarter, where it was a pass to Kelvin Benjamin. It was deflected, and Kelvin Benjamin didn't even try for the ball. There was no effort on his part to catch the ball after it was deflected. And it looked like if he gave a little effort, he might have been able to get there. And that's just disappointing to me. It's disappointing that that he doesn't want to play hard for this team. I don't know if it's just because of what he's hearing, from the local media, local fan bases. I mean, obviously everyone's been on his back this whole season, but you gotta make catches like that. That's your type of ball. That's the ball that you're known to go get. You have to catch him. You have to give an effort for a young, new quarterback. You have to show effort so that way he sees that you're trying. Step up your game a little bit so that way this rookie, your new starting quarterback, doesn't feel like all the pressure's on him. And then Terrell Pryor, like I said, I'll give him a little bit of a break, only a second week, but three passes went his way. He doesn't have a drop in this game, so I'm not sure. There was 2 passes that I saw in the recap where he didn't even get a hand on them. So obviously where the ball ends up has a lot to do with whether he gets catches or not. But 3 targets there as well, no catches. So that's the bad that I have for the Buffalo Bills, really. But again, it's hard to find bad when you're talking about 41-10 victory. But those are 3 things that I wish we could improve on moving forward, moving into that Jacksonville game. We have 2 weeks now to get ready for Jacksonville. And it's a great time for a bye week. If you followed me during our live stream yesterday before the game started, we went over the inactives, and the Bills have a lot of inactives, and so it's gonna be nice to get both of our quarterbacks back, of course, get Chris Ivory back, of course, and get Trent Edmonds back, right? Trent Edmonds back again as well. Those are 4 really big key guys. And talking about coming back from injury, we did have Tremaine Edmonds come back from injury in this one, and he played pretty well. So that was good to see. Good to see our rookies stepping up here. Still one of my favorite rookies this year is Tremaine Edmonds, doing a pretty good job. Covering up that middle and those linebackers. We talk about this young team. We have a young team here, especially the core players. You talk about White, you talk about Milano, you talk about Edmonds, you talk about Josh Allen if you want. Young guys, Zay Jones, all young guys just ready to step up and lead this team into the future. And I think it's a promising future if you're a Bills fan. I know this season will not end up the way a lot of Bills fans wanted it, but I think it's a promising future looking forward, and I look forward to having this future with Coach McDermott at the helm. And we'll see about Brian Daboll. I'm not sold on Brian Daboll. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying we need to give him a fair shot. More than a year where we had 4 or 5 different starting quarterbacks. So I'm gonna stick with Brian Daboll for another year and say, okay, let's see what he has when he has a team that he can win with. We all knew this roster was not stuff going into the season, so we shouldn't expect a product that leads us further than we think we should go. So that's all I have as far as news in this game. Again, Bills win 41-10. Bills move to 3-7 on the season. The Jets fall to 3-7 on the season. We'll see what the ramifications are from this game as far as from a Jets standpoint, whether this means they're going to change the coaching staff or if something else is going to happen down the line. We'll see what happens in the near future. Perfect time to do it going into that bye week. So we'll see what happens there. But that's all I have for this game. Again, Bills win 41-10 and move to 3-7 on the season. But do I think the Bills have a playoff shot? No, not a chance. The 3-7. We'd have to win out to be finished 9-7. And if you look at the AFC, I think the AFC is a little bit better than they were last year overall. And you talk about Kansas City, and you talk about the LA Chargers, right? One of those 2 teams, probably the Chargers, is going to be a wild card team. You talk about the Patriots, of course. And that's the thing. We have to beat the Patriots in New England. I don't think that's going to happen, especially now with them losing yesterday to Tennessee. I think the only chance they have of a 1 seed is winning out and hoping that KC loses twice. But then you talk about tough division races over in the South with the the Colts coming on strong after their win yesterday, and the Texans looking good. They've won, 5-6 in a row. And then you talk about the Baltimore Ravens are always tough, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are winning that division right now. So I don't see the Bills having a shot at the playoffs. Obviously, we'd have to go undefeated here on out to even have a shot. And then you're talking about 2 division games against Miami left, a game against the Jets. They might be looking for revenge against us. You're talking about a game against the Lions, who always play good. They are in games late. We saw them get beat by 2 scores against the Bears, but they're doing okay. And then the Jaguars, of course, as well. So I don't see the Bills winning seven straight. I mean, I can't remember the last time the Bills did win 7 straight. But I don't see the Bills winning 7 straight to get to even have a shot at the playoffs. So, but yeah, Fox 87 for the announcement. So normally throughout the week, as you guys know, I'm here every Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, right? I come on Thursday during Thursday Night Football to bring you guys an announcement, or bring you guys a pregame for the game coming up. Well, we don't have a game coming up this week, right? This is our bye week. So Thursday night, I will not be live streaming on here for a pregame for a game we don't have. However, Wednesday night, our Buffalo Bulls play Ohio in college football. If you're not a college football fan, then this announcement isn't for you. I will be here live to do the play-by-play of the Buffalo Bulls versus Ohio game on Wednesday. We could talk about the Bills a little bit on here. We can talk the Buffalo Bulls. We can talk about the men's basketball team being in the top 25 after their upset win on Friday against West Virginia. Big win, great game. If you didn't see that game, great game for our Buffalo Bulls. So a lot of sports news happening in Buffalo. Go UB Bulls, absolutely. Let's see what happens. But I will be here live this Wednesday for the live stream of the Buffalo Bulls game against Ohio, as the Buffalo Bulls look to move to, I think it's 10-1 now, right? Right, Fox A7? I think it's 10-1 now on the season, as they are definitely kicking butt. And then, I'm already looking ahead to what bowl games they might get. Go Sabres, let's not forget about them as well. But I'm also looking ahead to the Buffalo Bulls and seeing what kind of bowl game they might get, when they might play, and seeing if I have to take off work early for it. But I do want to at least try. I'm not going to make any promises yet, but I do want to at least try to live stream that bowl game. But yeah, as the Buffalo Bulls try to go to 10-1 on Wednesday, we will be here. So let everyone know we will be here. You might be right, Eagles. You might be right, Eagles 0-1. But hey, we'll be here giving you that game, and we'll talk Bills news as well. Not much going on in sports on a Wednesday, so join me on here, and We'll just talk about the Bills a little bit. We'll watch the Bulls game together. Just doing more live streams might make things a little bit more interesting. So, but that's the big announcement that I have for you guys. Won't be on here Thursday, but I will be on here Wednesday. We'll have a good time. Looking forward to the bye week. Yeah, 10-1 Wednesday. Let's see if it happens. But thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. I appreciate all of your support. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. Follow us on Twitter this week. What I will be doing, since the Bills do not have a game this Sunday, I still want to give you a live stream. I will not be able to live stream any 1 o'clock games, but let's see if we can get a 4 o'clock game. So on Twitter, I'll do a Twitter poll of what 4 o'clock games you guys want me to live stream. So follow me on Twitter. You get to vote, and then whoever game wins that vote, then we will definitely live stream the reaction and play-by-play of that game as the Buffalo Bills are on bye week. So great way to go into a bye week. 41-10 victory over the New York Jets. We move to 3-7 on the season. Won't be here on Thursday. We'll be here Wednesday. Let everyone know if you are a Buffalo Bulls fan. If you like Buffalo sports, we'll be on here. We'll talk about the Sabres. We'll talk about the Bulls. We'll talk about the Bills. We'll talk about the Bisons if you want to. I don't care. But we'll talk about whatever Buffalo sports you want to talk about. Give you some more updates from around the NFL. But we'll be here on Wednesday. So is Steve ever coming back? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Your guess is good as mine. But he's always welcome back, that's for sure. Look at the rest of the schedule. The Bills will be respectable. Moose, I think the same thing. Maybe 6, maybe 7 wins. We'll see. But we won't know for another 2 weeks as we get ready to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thank you for joining me on Believers Talk again. My name is Joe. Hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that notification bell. It lets you know when we go live every single week, at least 3 times a week. We're on here giving you Bills news, Bills transactions, injuries, whatever it might be. We're on here. So thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. Look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday as we watch the Buffalo Bulls look to go 10-1. So we'll see you then. But till next time, go Bills.